Badger. Oh, you're looking very, very sparkly today. Are you ready to do chapter 5? I'm really excited. Hello again. Right, now we need to put chapter 5 into the magic red bag. So here we go. Thank you, Badger. Chapter 5. In the red bag. Thank you very much. Right. Oh, wow. You got a key. Well, I wonder what the key is to chapter 5. Should we find out? Here we go. Badger arrived back at his garden. He turned round to tell Hamish the final magic ingredient of the super duper spell he was about to conjure up. Where did he go? Top Dog and his gang were leaving pea-mails all over the lampposts in the lane, boasting of their triumph. Badger retraced his and Hamish's earlier paw prints. As he stopped to leave a pea-mail of his own, asking for help in locating Hamish, he picked up a pea-mail from Top Dog. Oh no, thought Badger. I need to find him before the pet idol final. He continued to where the wheelie bins were lined up in a row and heard an enormous rumble coming from the middle bin. He edged closer and listened. There was another rumble and a groan, the unmistakable sound of Hamish's tummy. Hamish, is that you? Are you in there? Asked Badger. Badger, help me out. I still haven't had my dinner and it's really dark in here. Right, thought Badger. This calls for some help from Chief. He looked down at his red spotty neckerchief and whispered, Shokure, Shokure, over to you, Chief. Free him today. The knot of Badger's neckerchief began to unravel slowly and then shot quickly into the air before billowing out to form a perfect parachute. Badger closed his eyes and concentrated very hard. Sparkles of light appeared around his nose. His ears pointed forward at the handles on top of the wheelie bin and he stared with all his might. The lid sprang open and Chief glided inside. Seconds later, the neckerchief emerged with Hamish hanging on below. Well done, Chief. Gently does it, said Badger, watching Hamish float softly down to the ground. It's time for action. This can't go on with Top Dog and his gang. We need to get to the bottom of it. And I think I know who can help. Follow me. Back in his garden, Badger sat down on the grass, became very still and sniffed the air. He looked up to where the sun hung in the sky and listened, cocking his head gently from side to side. Hamish looked on in wonder. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. What's that? He asked, pointing his paw at what looked like a stone pillar with a stone plate balanced on top. That, replied Badger, is my sundial. Not just any sundial, it's a magical sundial, and if we're quick, it will take us to meet Baby Unicorn. Who? What? Where? Come here, whispered Badger. Together they reached up to look at the plate on top of the pillar. There, in front of them, was the most beautiful arrangement of golden stars, words, numbers and symbols with a brass pointer in the middle. Hamish craned his neck to read the words. Time stays long enough for anyone who will use it. What does that mean? Badger smiled. We are currently here, Hamish, but soon we will be there, and for a moment, time as we know it will stand still. Wow! Said Hamish, then scratched his head with his paw and asked, Does that include dinner time? Dinner time too, grinned Badger. At last, whispered Hamish. Now, said Badger. See the sun up above? Hamish nodded, squinting his eyes to look up into the sky. The sundial's pointer casts a shadow from the sun, and when that shadow is perfectly aligned between the bone symbol and the ball symbol, then the magic happens and we can take flight. But it's nearly there, said Hamish excitedly. Precisely. They waited and watched for what seemed like a very long time indeed, until suddenly the shadow glided into place. And at exactly that moment, a strange-looking contraption appeared before them. Huffing and puffing, clanking and clunking, Hamish stared. What? He stuttered. Is, he spluttered, that? Badger looked calmly over his shoulder and said, That's the whim-whim for a wowser to wind the weather up on a wet day. The whim-whim for a wowser to wind the weather up on a wet day? But it's not raining, said Hamish. It doesn't have to be, sighed Badger. But you said it was. No, it didn't. That's just its name, Hamish. Now, get in. I'm not going anywhere in that. Hamish, you have to. The whim-whim will take us to where we need to go. Now. Is it friendly? Of course. The whim-whim is here to help us. Badger stepped confidently onto the first rung of the ladder, beckoning Hamish to follow him. A big golden key sticking out from the side of the whim-whim started to vibrate loudly, making a noise like a siren. Badger twisted it clockwise with his front paws and the piercing sound stopped. What was that? Asked Hamish. The all-important key, replied Badger. It likes to feel important. As Badger stepped into the whim-whim, a breeze began to swirl, lifting the leaves and petals from the ground. The whim-whim creaked and clattered and panted and puttered. Come on, Hamish, or we'll miss our slot, yelled Badger. Hamish steadied his paws and joined Badger in the whim-whim. The strange contraption cranked and rattled and jabbered and murmured and droned. It's very noisy, shouted Hamish. It'll settle down in a moment. Sparkles of light started to twinkle around Badger. We're on our way, said Badger. The whim-whim sighed and breathed out a steady, rumbling hum. Now, said Badger, looking at Hamish, who was still a bit wobbly. "This is the really important part. Are you ready? Close your eyes and repeat after me. Open our hearts with our eyes closed tight. Open our hearts with our eyes closed tight," repeated Hamish, closing his eyes tightly. "Imagine our bodies filling with light. Imagine our bodies filling with light," repeated Hamish, taking a deep breath. "With good intentions clearly in sight. With good intentions clearly in sight," repeated Hamish, starting to tingle all over. "Let magical dreams take flight," said Badger with a flourish. The top of the whim started to whir rapidly. "Let magical dreams take flight," repeated Hamish with a similar flourish. Just then a wondrous beat pulsed through his body. And that is the end of chapter 5, where they get ready to fly into the sky in the Whim. Well, tell you what, Badger, that was so exciting. I need some toast after that. See you next time. Bye-bye.